Hey there, guys. This is the Real Guardian. I want to let you know I'm grateful for the 800 subs again. Thank you for watching my channel as much as you have. Apologies, I was going to record it, then an emergency came up. So sadly, when that came up, I didn't have time to do it. And I just got over having a cold with a sore throat. So if I stop the video, like literally legitimately pause it, I apologize. I try my best not to do something like that because it irritates me. But it's because I just need to give my voice a break, and I'll come back and finish it. So now that's all being said, we have a Discord link down below. I'm going to try to use it more often since I'm officially going to break after this. And let's try to get 10 Patreons on Patreon because I'd actually like to do some Patreon only content and start putting the videos up there first. But until I actually get enough Patreons where I can justify it, I can't do it right now. That being said, I hope you guys will enjoy what Blacklight Bell had. Black Bell, just due to the fact that this is part 2 and 3 smashed together. So yeah, this is going to be a long video. So now to get this all out of the way, viewer discretion is advised due to the fact of mature themes, mature subjects, very suggestive subjects, dark as hell things I've decided to do the script, and so that I can permanently cover my ass from YouTube because I do not want them coming after me. Now, that being said, please sit down, enjoy the new What If, part 2 of What If Belle had a blacklight virus. Belle is being carried by Freya, with both her and Ishtar pondering their thoughts. After giving him their blessing, he has everything at S999, even his magic. So they level him up to 2 right away. And they all learn more about the virus. It seems when he consumes monsters, he also consumes the magic within their cores, which raises his magic. He cannot devour a deity, for they are immortal, and to devour someone with a blessing is harder than a normal person. As it explained on the sheet, you are devouring both a mortal and their God's divine blessing. You can still consume them, but you can fail at it. Since they have a stronger will than you, they can fight back and prevent it. But if it is done right, then you can add all the skills, magic, stats, and abilities they had to Belle's blessing. Belle right now is in a deep sleep in Freya's arms. He's making cute noises, which Freya thought was adorable. They are walking to a town that they came from, with Ishtar saying, "Hey, it's my turn to carry Belle." Frey saying no, he's in a deep sleep. And second, learn to share, he's both of ours. With her sticking out her tongue. Ishtar was visibly angry at Frey, but calmed down, saying, "I know, but we need to help him grow up right, especially since he's in that state." Both their eyes drift down to Belle. Under that cloak, he was very malnourished and barely had any meat in his bones, is what a friend of theirs would say. He also had many, many scars across his body. It was clear he has gone through hell. And if she saw Belle in this state, she would want to kill whoever did this. With both of them sighing, responding, and with Freya responding, "Yes, and when he's 15, we have to teach him the pleasures of a woman. Don't you agree?" They're making a slight giggle at that thought. Once they get back into the town, many people come and greet the goddesses, try to get something from them, or a more desire-related something. They give polite smiles and small conversations, going back to the inn they stayed at. Before asking this time for a single bedroom to save money is what they tell the innkeeper. But in reality, it's to make sure Belle is safe. Them getting in the room, they start having another talk, with Ishtar being beyond angry, saying, "So did you see that? It seems people with white hair are especially hated. The death stares Belle is getting." They're clenching her fists. Freya saying, "Honestly, I don't know why that's happening. I just don't get mortal sometimes. Their hatred. But we do need to get new clothes for the boy first thing in the morning." She was about to say more, but Ishtar quickly grabbed Belle and flopped on the bed, holding him tight and stroking his hair. Freya was visibly ticked and angry, saying, "What the hell, Ishtar?" Her response back being, "He's my Belle too, and even if we did not bless him together, I'd still take him as my only lover." As she sticks her tongue out. Now an all-out cat fight over Belle was happening. So while that was happening, Belle was deep asleep in the void, with his eyes finally darting open, with him hyperventilating, trying to catch his breath. And there goes saying, Well, how was your nap, my prince charming? The bell saying, with Belle seeing, sorry, he was in her lap, there stroking his hair. Belle asking, so why did I pass out? The response being, oh, that's really simple. You were just tired. Belle responding back, well, I was stupid to ask that. She belly laughed, and you were both saying, but really, it's because you received two blessings at once. It remade your whole body, so it had to slowly adjust to it. Even your soul and consciousness needed adjustment. Sorry. With her giving him a very happy smile, Belle just sighing, frustrated, saying, so, what's the status report? With Nero saying, well, sir, we have learned that you are the most adorable when you're sleeping, and you make some of the cutest noises ever. With Belle giving her a look, with her sighing, saying, okay, okay, okay. You're all right, Belle. This will help you get stronger, but you have to take care of yourself first. And be very vigilant, Belle. You're always going to have a target on your back. He nodded his head in understanding. Belle started to fade away. See, he was sandwiched between both Freya and Ishtar's bodies and bosoms. Belle's trying to register what's going on, with Nirgal saying, you're in every man's fantasy right now, Belle. I'm so proud of you. With her laughing her out loud her ass off. With him screaming back in his head, are you an old man or a woman? With her saying, I'm both, while laughing even louder at him. Both Freya and Ishtar wake up saying good morning to Belle, with them both hugging him even tighter. Belle using all his might, breaking free and jumping out of bed, saying, good morning. With him just trying to understand what was happening. With both the guys saying, phooey. He just had to break free. They get up and say, we need to get you a change. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, let me say that again. Saying, we need you to get changed, so we promise not to tease you. Or look, we vow as goddesses, and indeed does not take any vow lightly. After this vow gets changed with them going to a clothes store. By the way, is a very obvious sight that everyone is giving Belle death glares. And the whole reason he's alive right now is because he's with the goddesses. He just sighs. He's useless, but it still stings. All because of his hair and eye color. Painful memories coming to the surface. But he shakes them all off. As I'm walking into a clothes store, the clerk giving the goddesses a glowing smile. Apologies. Well, he gave Belle a quick look of utter disgust. See this, both Frey and Ishtar released their killing intent, saying, we are here to get clothes for our familia's child. Do you have a problem with that? The clerk taking the deepest gulp he's ever had in a breath, saying, no, I don't have a problem with that. With that, their response was, good. We're getting everything for free. Are we making ourselves clear to you? With the clerk just nodding his head rapidly. Now that they're doing this, they get a bunch of different clothes for Belle. He eventually comes out wearing a white button-up shirt with black pants. The Fairy and Ishtar internally drooling over how handsome he looks in it. Both of them clearing their throats very quickly, saying, it looks perfect on you, Belle. Belle saying thank you, but Goddess Freya walking up to him, then tapping him on the head, saying, don't thank us just yet. We have to get you new shoes and some very healthy food for you to eat, and other essentials. With her patting his head, Belle smiled, saying, thank you so much, goddesses, again. He gave a very happy smile, the first genuine smile he's given since his mother was alive. The clerk watching them from the store, thinking we have to save the deities before something bad happens. To everyone here, including them. After this, everywhere they go, Belle gets the same treatment, and making everyone else incur the goddess's wrath. And they get everything for free because of it. Because they all know if they don't do it, they're going to die. Finally going back to the hotel, with Belle's really happy. So, going back to the hotel with Belle being really happy, he had people willing to stand up for him the first time in a very long time. Though Freya and Ishtar were very upset and having a quiet conversation, Belle could not hear. Ishtar saying, okay, what the hell is going on? Why is everyone in this whole town giving Belle that kind of treatment? Freya saying, I don't know. But there has to be a reason for all of this. I mean, you just don't show that level of hatred for a child for nothing. While they were trying to understand what was going on, a group of assassins jumped through the shadows, with them landing on nearby building's rooftop, getting their weapons ready, saying, okay, he's only level 1, he's gotta be, since he just got blessed recently by one of them. But still, be careful. This will make a huge difference in advantages and battle strength with this fight. The rest of them nod their heads. Bell was skipping a bit, since he's never been in such a good mood like this again in a long time. But he heard Nergo's voice saying, you got enemies nearby. Bell saying, I know. I sensed them seconds ago. Not really hiding themselves well. The assassins drop down on Bell, and he just simply sidesteps all 10 of them as they all stab their swords to the ground, looking up in a complete shocked state, realizing that he seemed to know they were coming. Most of all, level 1s are not that fast. Most of them coming to the conclusion, wait, is he already a level 2? Bell just cracking his knuckles, saying, okay, so I'm your target, huh? Well, you're dead. With Bell forming his claws, but a flicker of black in his hair showing. With the assassins trembling in fear, seeing this weird-ass skill before them, Bell sharpening his claws against each other, licking his lips. He disappeared, dicing 2 assassins into nothing but blood while consuming them, causing the others to crap themselves. The leader of the group saying, it's just some skill, we can still kill him. But the goddesses behind them were not happy. What was going on was their only thought. As they were about to intervene, mysterious hands grabbed them with a cloth, and everything goes black. While Bell was stabbed by all the remaining 8 men in the head. Bell's hair starting to turn even more blacker. With him laughing, you thinking you can kill me? The assassins were completely freaking out. They couldn't even pull out their swords, screaming internally, how the hell is he still alive? Bell's smile, but it became a more twisted smile, as the swords that filled his head were consumed by him. Ergo saying, well, you got some ammo now. Farewell. See, while Bell was shopping, him and Nargo was having a discussion on what his blessing did to the blacklight power. Further than what was written on the paper, since it seems Nirago wanted to keep most of this confidential, not only the goddesses should ever really know. It seemed he could now consume weapons, items, and other things, other than people and monsters, and store them within his biomass. It was a very convenient power, but there was even more to it. It was also tied to the pack leader ability. So everything he consumes, they also get, which made it even more amazing. Though there were some limitations with it as well. Things like magic crystals, water, and food would be consumed completely as nutrients to him. So it has limitations here and there. But she decided to speak of other limitations he had. See, he was at the limit of consuming the people when he was at the village. But thanks to his blessing, he increased the limit through Pack Leader again. It's just amazing how well these 2 abilities tie together. See, he now can summon, since everything he can now summon, as she's put it, has its own limit. Or Narugo put it even more simpler terms to Bell. If Bell had a personal limit of 100, now everything in the pack has its own 100 limit. Though this is just some of the things that have happened. Naruto said the power will grow, shape, and change within him as he gets stronger over time with the blessing. But right now, it was very useful to have this kind of information on their hands. Bell then lifted his claw hands, shooting out swords, piercing all but the leader and violators, walking by the near dead men as tendrils came out and he consumed them. Him grabbing the leader by his clothes, lifting him in the air, saying, so who sent you to kill me? Take my goddesses, and if you're truthful, I will make this painless. The leader screamed, it was the whole town. They want you dead. They want the goddesses themselves. Because if we're not getting first dibs on them, I've never said yes to this. This causing anger so great in Bell that his hair started to get blacker and some of his red was getting blacker in his eyes. with Bell taking the deepest breath he could, saying, "I see. You've chosen a painful death." Bell gutted him and consumed him, but he did it bit by bit, making sure every single second for the man was agonizing pure pain. Well, once he finished, he went through all the memories of the assassins he gained. He knew where his goddesses were. They were in a building on the other side of town, since they're at the edge of the other end near the hotel. Bell saying the words, "Pack leader," with an army of monsters and people coming up. Bell's hair almost turning black, with streaks of red, his crimson eyes turning even more blacker. With him giving an order, he sent his army out by saying, "Destroy, burn, consume to your heart's content. Leave none alive until you get to that building and surround it. Do I make myself clear?" As everything inside his army nodded once. Now his army was burning and sacking, killing. They gutted people, consumed them through flame. And as this was happening, the flames they started, and the screams were getting higher and louder and higher still. Families were getting turned and killing each other. As words echo these haunting words, saying, "We shall be one, we shall be one." Every time it is done, those who hear it run or try to hide from the horror that was happening before him. It was so great. They cursed the gods and goddesses, even the two that brought him, saying this white-haired boy had brought this upon him. But Bell starting to laugh like a maniac, saying, "Why do people never learn? For I am the true darkness that will consume them all, like this world wishes me to." But before all this happened, Frey and Ishtar awakened to see they were tied up in a building that looked like a storage room. No, more correctly, a storage warehouse, they thought, and what seemed to be a town leader with a group of men talking to them. They turned to see them awake, saying, "Well, well, the sleeping beauties are like," with him licking his lips. But he stopped himself, saying, "Once the assassins have their fun, we get it with the goddesses as well." Both of them just look at all of them with utter disgust, especially the leader. Such a disgusting man, they thought. Though the leader spoke up, saying, "Well, if you never brought the destined plague here, you've never been in this situation, to be honest." The Frey and Ishtar were saying, "What plague are you talking about?" The leader gave him a very shocked look, saying, "Wait, you don't know the oracle's prophecy from ancient times?" Both of them giving a confused look. The leader decided to clear his throat, saying, "Do you think goddesses would not know that during the ancient times a woman was granted Nirgal's blessing? She almost destroyed the world at the time, with disease and plagues she brought with her. But when she was sealed away by the great hero Dana, the oracle foretold that one day she'd get free again, and the world and another would gain Nirgal's blessing, a boy with white hair and crimson eyes, and he alone could stop her. Though he could be our salvation, he could also become the greatest plague and destroyer by defeating her and killing her. This is why it's best to kill the boy before he is blessed by that deity, especially since it will end us." Both Ishtar and Frey are saying, "Are you insane? Trying to kill him will make him the destroyer." And second, with the biggest and happiest smirk they could give, saying, "You're way too late on that second blessing of his." With them laughing out loud, the leader actually getting so angry he smacked both of them across the face, then grabbing both of them by the hair, saying, "Okay, I'm not to wait anymore. Time for the deed," with him licking his lips. But the door slammed open with a man screaming, "The town's on fire. People are being slaughtered left and right by monsters, with these weird people and townfolk saying, 'We shall be one.' Everything's being devoured and consumed and destroyed, and they're almost here." But a loud scream could be heard outside, a blood-curdling scream to be in fact. The leader, shaking in utter fear, screamed out, while hyperventilating, "Go out there and find out what's going on," forcing every man but him outside. Their screams came quickly, blood-curdling in their cries, as they screamed the words "mercy, mercy," even some begging on their knees for their lives. But once all the words stopped, it got dead silent. As the leader of town was now just shaking in fear, worried that he was about to die. Then he only heard footsteps that were getting closer and closer. But with every step, he felt like his heart was jumping out of his chest, beating faster and faster and faster, until it reached the door. As it kicked it open, Bell walked into the room. The leader said, "What? It's that boy. How did he survive those assassins?" A change in his tone as he gained some form of courage, screaming out, "Well, when something done, you do yourself." As he grabbed a nearby, very hard rod, dashing forward, Bell simply punched him into the wall, across the room as he slammed into it hard. He walked up to his gauzes, untying them, but seeing their swollen cheeks and blood in their hair, with the words filling the air, dripping with this toxic sense of hatred, anger, and utter vile. As these leave his lips, "You harmed them." With another set of words, with a more deranged voice, "Seems it's my turn." With his hair turning black and with his red streaks becoming obvious, his eyes pitch black with shades of crimson, with Mercer's demonic twisted smile saying, "Time for you to be tortured." With Mercer turning away from his own goddesses and walking towards the man, though he was trying to crawl away from him, screaming he's sorry over and over again. But Mercer just smiled twistedly. He grabbed him by the legs, pulled him towards him, but causing the man to scream out, "Please have mercy on me." Mercer just laughed, saying, "My name may be Mercer, but I have no mercy in me." He broke both of the man's legs as he screamed out in agonizing pain. But it did not stop there. Mercer slowly ripped them off, bit by bit, with his agonizing screams filling the air every time he pulled on his legs, as he begged and begged for his life. So Mercer decided to start doing it even more slower. Once he felt satisfied, he ripped them off completely and consumed just his legs, grabbing the man's hands, holding them up, breaking each finger, followed by ripping them off slowly and painfully and consuming them. The pain was so great it almost caused the man to pass out. Mercer decided to follow this up, on the other hand, saying, "But the fun's just getting started, my friend." Grabbing his arms this time and slowly ripping them apart, tiny and tinier and tinier bits. He just did this to make sure the man would stay conscious. Finally getting bored, he ripped both his arms off and consumed, grabbing now what was just a torso of a man, with his hands around the man's neck, saying, "Any last words before I eat you?" His rod simply saying, "He was so sorry." Mercer just tuning that out, consumed the man slowly. He screamed in agony until his last breath. Mercer was laughing like a maniac the whole time, saying, "Finally, finally, this is so much fun. I never thought I could enjoy something so much." Freya and Ishtar were just shocked. This version of Belle, they knew it was a different person. His soul became a red diamond with a black core. They slowly walk up to Belle, saying, "Can you hear us, Belle?" Mercer sang with his twisted smile, "Oh, dear goddesses, if you want him, I'm so sorry, but he's not home right now. You have me, though," giving a mad laugh with his twisted smile. Both of the guys saying, "Okay, but we need to talk to Belle?" Mercer King visibly angry, saying, "He's not home right now. I'm your Belle. Now start bowing, bowing, bowing before me," as he formed claws, getting ready to kill. This started walking up, saying, "Okay, but we need to know. Are you and Belle okay?" Mercer just his tongue twice, saying, "Oh, we're all right. Just about to finish purging this town. It's down to the last person. Oh wait, they're dead." With him getting more violent and insane. Freya now walking up and speaking up. "Okay, that's all good, but can you get ready to leave? We need to go." Mercer's anger even more apparent as he gets even more violent with his words, saying, "Leave? Why would I leave with such weaklings? And have you forgot? Oh, it's not God here." As he hyperventilates, Ishtar saying, "No, we have not. But we need to go since you're still a child." And Mercer snapped finally, saying, "I'm no child. I'm no child, and I don't belong to you. I belong to no one. So it seems it's time for you to die." As Mercer got even more ready, as he was about to lunge forward, but both and Ishtar walked up to him, stopping before him, saying this without utter fear or anything in their tone or voice. "Do it. But before we die, Belle and Mercer, we truly love you. This was the happiest first day we get to spend with you as both your goddesses and a familia. We got to see you smile even though everyone treated you badly. Though we want the best for you, we're okay with dying. But we do hope one day you find your true happiness like we did when we blessed you." Hearing this, Mercer just grabbed his head as he screamed out in pain, as he didn't know what was going on. His hairs and eyes were flashing back and forth rapidly, until his hair was once again white and his eyes were crimson. Belle dropping to the ground, weeping in tears, saying he's so sorry over and over again, and his goddess is just comforting him, wiping away Belle's tears, asking as they wipe away a tear. He asks, "Are they both okay?" They just drop down even further and hug him even tighter, saying they're alright. "Belle, we meant every word of it. We still love you no matter what." Belle cried in tears of happiness, though he finally blacked out, collapsed, with all of them just resting there. Waking to the next morning, they took everything of value they could find, monies, valuable possessions, and honestly, Belle knew about it, thanks to having everyone's memories from town. Wrapping and clothing for the materials for Belle de Craft were all stored in his biomass. That they had to pack food and other things of that nature into a wagon. Getting two strong horses they found that were still alive and around. Even Belle stated, "Given how insane that was, that's ironic." The goddess is giggling and agreeing with Belle. Now Belle saying to the goddess, one of the numerous memories he had gotten was about a barrier and some silver-haired woman that was protecting him. But since she didn't have my hair or eye color, they left her alone. It's about a 2-day journey from here. I want to check it out if that's okay. The goddesses thought about it and pondered it, then agreed with him, saying this was the next course of action. For now, it is time to start their long journey forward in this new world, with Belle finally beginning it. Going to the forest for the silver-haired woman, being a day out with their journey, stopping to make a campfire, feeding the horses in need. Belle was fast asleep at this point, and both Freya and Ishtar's lap in this tight ball. It was downright adorable. They had to fight back every urge not to devour him right then and there. So they started to talk to clear their heads. Ishtar started out saying, "That was the other side of him, right?" Freya nodded, saying, "So that's what happened to the last one. The more darker, or darkness, whatever you want to call it, side took control over them. Now Belle has to pay for it. If I could go back in time, I'd strangle that oracle." Freya giving a light laugh, saying, "I agree, but what's done is done. It's in the past. And right now we need to give both sides of Belle as much love and affection, and freedom, honestly, as possible. For the day that his prospect comes true. He does it by his own choice, whoever he is." Ishtar nodded, Ishtar nodded to all this, but Frey's saying, "But we're not going to let other deities have our Belle. On this day, I declare we build our power before we go back to Oreo. We need it. Because when we enter it, we're entering a battleground after all. Dia and Loki reign on top. Mr. Agreed with her saying, but it's a good thing Hestia is still on our side. We are the three virgin goddesses after all. Finally, they get to the forest, seeing a path to take, seeing a small hut, getting out of the wagon, with all of them walking up to the door. Sorry, walking up to the door, and it getting kicked open. Then they see this older woman opening the door. Blind speed, she knocked Belle down to the ground, having a sword at its throat. Belle looking up to her, seeing his long silver hair. She had one gray eye and one green eye, saying, "Wow, you're really pretty." Also, for your visual learners here, I think I actually got a picture of this. This is the one. Total waifu material, and is the actual canon of. You're about to find out. With her saying, "Belle, is that you?" Give her a confusing look, saying, "How do you know my name?" She planted the sword near his head as tears streamed down her face, saying, "My beloved nephew." Yes, she's the canonical aunt to Belle. Why does everyone revolve around Belle like that? God. Okay, I'm going to close this now. I'm so sorry for having to abandon you and your mom years ago. Belle sat up a bit and pulled her into a tight hug while crying. Well, after that, everyone's sitting down around the table in her home, with the goddess is giving a very obvious death glare at her. Well, Belle, still wiping away someone's tears, his aunt clearing her throat, saying, "So my name is Althea, and I am your Aunt Belle, and a former member of the Hera family. I'm even level 7. So was your mother Mitra." Belle getting much calmer, asking, "So you knew my mom pretty well after all?" All I remember was her smiling face at this point. Althea smiled, saying, "Yes, after all, she was my sister. She was the kindest person I knew, so pure that she always had a smile and made everyone love her, to the point where Eric just gave her a blessing for that reason alone. But she could be incredibly scary at times." As she started to shake, she said, "When it came to food, one time I ate all her cookies, and I had to resign myself to death. And Harry even had to kneel down to her just to save my life. That was a really great day with her." After I calmed her down, she just laughing a bit, saying, I could see a lot of you in her. I could see a lot of you in her. Sorry. So, can I ask you something? Why are you with two goddesses, and why are they giving me a death glare?" Belle told her his whole life story up to this point. She was in complete tears. Her thoughts were, "I can't believe my nephew went through this. All just because of some superstitious people." She slammed her fist down the table, even wiping away her tears, saying, "Well, how about you go outside and check on those horses, Belle? It's clear we need to have a private talk." With her looking at the goddesses, Belle walking outside with her saying, "I know, you must think I'm the worst aunt ever. And that's probably true, but there's 2 reasons why I could never have raised him regardless." Freya and Ishtar give her a look, and then give her a nod to explain, with her saying, "1. I have something like my sister did, and until it happens, I don't want to tell you. 2nd, with me here, it's to keep that barrier. Some of the most powerful monsters that escape the dungeon are behind here, and there's a full-size army of them. So you could say I'm here to keep them from getting out. That being said, I would like to spend time with my nephew and teach him everything I can. If that's alright with you, though." Both of the goddesses think about it, nodding. As they're walking away to check on Belle, Freya actually spoke up, saying, "I can understand why you did it, especially since you didn't lie to us. But don't think this makes up for how Belle has been treated his whole life." Freya walking out, visibly angered, leaving Althea alone to her thoughts, with her cursing herself for leaving Belle and his mother behind that day. Now being the next day, and Althea has 2 swords and various other weapons. She tosses one of the swords to Belle, saying, "Okay, I know you got that freaky ass skill, but sometimes it's best to save up a card like that for last. So I'm going to teach you how to fight." and use magic. Also, what level are you, Belle? You spawned with being. I'm a level 2 with all high-end B stats. I'll be making a pondering face, saying, "Okay, I know what to do." Then first, let me teach you a simple wind spell and the basics of sword fight. Okay, and we're going to do this until late afternoon with no breaks to make myself clear. Bell nodding his head. Now we do get finished with the training, with it being late afternoon. Bell was rubbing his sides all on the ground, saying, "You don't hold back at all, do you, Auntie?" They're saying, "I was known by two names, the incarnation of talent and the monster of talent. So, no, I do not hold back at all. Plus, you're already level 2 in a day, which is unheard of even back in Aurora, so I think you can handle this." Showing Bell a very calming smile. Bell and her get back to the house, and the goddesses tackle Bell down to the ground, checking him all over to make sure he was okay. Bell saying, "I'm okay," while wincing in pain. "I just really need to take a quick shower, okay?" With that single uttering of words, an evil gleam was in the goddess's eyes, and Bell knew he fucked up. With him trying to crawl away quickly since they let go briefly, but he got grabbed before he could bolt, mouthing the words, "Help," to his aunt, but she mouthed the words back, saying, "Sorry, but I can't stop a goddess, so good luck." With Belle giving the look and then mouthing, "You traitor!" Belle was sadly dragged to the bathroom, and two very happy goddesses came out shortly, with a completely depressed Belle, giving a look of, "I'm so done with life." Alfia did giggle a bit, saying, "It's alright, I went through that with your mom and Hera. Trust me, I know your pain." She gave him a quick head pat. She had already set the dinner table with, and Belle turned to see assortments of various types of food. Her response being, "I'm not sure what you'd like. So I made a bit of everything. So let's all eat once we're finished." So let's all eat. And once they were finished, sorry, they had a talk. Belle saying, "So you're going to give me all the training you possess that you gained over your whole life. So we're probably staying for a while." We're nodding her head. Both Frey and Ishtar saying, "So where are we staying then? I don't want to stay in the wagon for an indefinite amount of time." Althea saying, "Don't worry, I have a guest room with a bed." Both of them silently. Belle saying, "Okay, so I'll go sleep on the floor in the living room." "That's okay," but getting grabbed by the guys is saying, "Nope, you're sleeping with us, Belle." But all of a sudden he disappeared from their grasp because Althea grabbed him, saying, "No, he's sleeping with me, and that's final." Sparks flying in the hairs between all the women. Belle shaking his head and shaking in fear, thinking, "Is this going to be my whole life? Being fought over all the time?" Miracle saying, "Pretty much, you're an easy womanizer on the eyes." Belle was still just went, "No!" Now, Belle and her were trying to get to sleep. Alfia decided to start to talk a bit more about their lives. Her saying, "I hate noise. So much I hate my own noise I make. To the point it angers me, ironically. Also, having three spells evolving sound is kind of ironic." They're laughing a bit. Belle saying, "Maybe you have those spells because the sound you make is that beautiful." She tapped Belle's forehead, saying, "Maybe. But if you ever go to Aurora, I want you to go to a church. Your mother loves spending time there and helping the kids. I would like that too. So would your mom if she was here." Belle smiled at her, saying, "I will, of course." Althea giggling, saying, "You got too much of your mom in you. Someone saw you two together, they truly see you as mother and son." Having brought a smile to her face, she actually kisses Belle's cheek, "Plus, as long as you're here, I will protect you during the night and in the path from them from now on. So get some sleep." She grabbed a dagger from her pillow and flinged it at the spot of the floor. Belle could hear two yelps. Seeing his goddesses shake in fear, Althea smiled scarily at them, saying, "Don't you have your own room to stay in?" Freya and his torches gulp, nodding and scurrying away like bugs. Belle laughing out loud a bit, saying, "Thanks for that. I really need it after the bath." With Lyrico saying, "Okay, I love her. She's total waifu material. It's too bad you're related, though. Maybe I could fix that. So, though morning finally came, finishing breakfast, Alfia tapped Belle on the head and motioned him to follow her. They both go out and get into deeper parts of the forest, but they stop at a large sea of vines. Picking up a nearby rock, Alfia threw it, hitting a barrier. It disappears. Alfia saying, "Okay, next step I'm teaching you is how to make barrier magic." She chanted something Belle didn't really understand, with her stopping and pointing to the sword Belle had brought with him. Understanding what was going on, he pulled out the sword and quickly swiped at her, with it hitting her and stopping. Seeing a green barrier, she held up her hand, Belle placing the sword back. Alfia saying, "That's a barrier, but with this kind of magic, it's better to have a clear picture in your mind before casting it, or it's going to be completely flimsy. So your job today is to make a barrier that will take a hit from me." Belle's shaking with fear, remembering yesterday, but your girl's saying, "Don't worry, you can regenerate your head, so you're fine. Just get ready for a beating." Belle just sighing and then screaming out to her, "I know, but it still hurts like hell." And as a long day has gone by until it was nearly nighttime, Belle finally does it. He made his own chant, saying, "Great blacklight, protector of me, with infinite possibilities, make it where none may strike me, so I may strike down all my enemies." With this chant finished, a black and red magic barrier appeared around, and his aunt hit him full force in the barrier hole. Belle panting with nearly collapsing, Alfia pulling out a mind potion and making Belle drink it. They're giving him a piggyback ride. Belle apologizing to her. She just shaking her head, saying, "It's alright. I was just surprised you had that much mind for someone being level 2. Belle responding, "It's because of my blacklight and me consuming so many magic crystals." Alfia laughing, saying, "That's cool, but adventurous first tip. Don't consume those in the dungeon. That's where you get most of your money, sadly." Belle giggling and nodding his head. When they get home, the goddesses start to see them, quickly running up and ignoring Alfia and saying, "Belle, are you alright? Did you sprain something? Or did you get too tired? Don't worry, we'll help you." They try to grab him from Alfia, but she stops them by shaking them off and taking Belle into her room, placing him on the bed, saying, "Okay, we're getting in the bathroom first. I'm officially your bathroom buddy. I cannot trust those thirsty goddesses anymore. So we're having a talk once we get there, young man." Belle nodded his head. She quickly drags him into the bath, helping him washing up, but finally saying, "I'm so sorry. Had I known they're that thirsty, I would never left them alone with you. Ever." Belle saying, "It's okay. They're my goddesses." She clearly smacks him as hard as she can in the head, saying, "No, they are your goddesses. So you have to be even more careful. So I'm giving you some ground rules to follow until you turn at least an adult, mister. Do I make myself clear?" Well, just rubbing his head, nodding it, saying, "Okay." She started by saying, "First rule, you never do anything you don't want to, even if they beg for it. Second, you must never let your guard down around them, ever, even when you're sleeping. Third rule, you never let them talk down to you. You voice your opinions, they matter. And fourth, never be charmed by their looks or let them have their way all the time. Even if you have to punch them, scream at them, or any action to do this. Do I make myself clear?" Bell just shaking his head. Nurgle saying, "And never let them have all the fun. You should have some fun too. After all, it's your life." Nurgle thinking to herself, though, it's a damn shame she never raised you. Wonder why. Belle figuring out probably why she stopped talking, saying, "It must have been a very important reason." After finishing getting drying up and dressed, Alfia started to have a bad cough for a couple seconds, saying, "Sorry, there's some dust in the air, Belle." He just gives her a look and pats her on the back. With them getting out, the goddesses were giving a death glare at Alfia. Belle walking up and hugging both of them, causing them to get really red in the face quickly, saying, "It's okay. I really want to get to know my aunt, and when we leave, I promise I'll give you some of my time. Or all of it, if you need it," giving a puppy dog face. They started afraid, both turning away, saying, "Okay." Belle smiling happily, saying, "Well, that's all yours. Me and Auntie will be doing the cooking. I want to learn for all of us, so we all have delicious meals every day." Both of them starting to cry, saying, "You're such a good kid. We'll be back." After they left, Belle said, "So, how did you like my acting?" I think I controlled them pretty well. He giving a wicked smile like Mercer would give. Alfia was in shock, but she was so proud of him by saying, "Good job. I will make you into the best survivor ever." She's starting to chuckle at all her own thoughts. With both of them going in the kitchen, she started to teach Belle simple stuff since he's a great learner. Honestly, she thought about it. He learns like a sponge. Takes a while, but once he's got it, he's got it. We're on the same wavelength in that regard, to be honest. Dinner being over, she takes Belle to her room and they have a small talk about it. It's Belle falling fast asleep, waking up in the void, seeing a very grumpy Nerigo. Belle getting up saying, "Okay, what did I do?" So turning her whole body around and huffing at him, even giving a pouting face. Belle starting to put it together, walking up to her and laid her right in her lap, turning around and then hugging her from the side, burying his face into her belly, causing her to get red, saying, "Okay, that's better, but why are those goddesses getting more attention to me?" Belle saying, "Because I have to deal with them all day. But at night, never forget I'm all yours, and no one else can take that away, okay?" She started saying, she started to stroke his hair, saying, "Okay, I can live with that. But I want you to talk to me more when you're alone. I kind of feel left out." Belle nodding his head, saying he can do that. He stayed like that for a long while before waking up. It, sorry, we're long before waking up. It's been a week, and Belle's actually learned how to use the sword to a near mastery level. Now, having over 20 spells to him as well. In his last update, he almost got everything to A. And his day started out with Alfia tossing him staff and a battle axe, and said, "Learn these two today, and I'll teach you Greater Ice Spear as the next spell." Belle nodding his head, saying, "Yes, Master Auntie." She scoffed at the name, but she secretly really liked it. Once they get to the end of the day, they're heading back. But before they do so, they get some fruits and vegetables from a garden she's been growing in the forest near the house. While Belle was picking what she asked him of, he posed a question to her. "So what made you stay here?" Alfia saying it's because of a promise I made to Hera before she was sent back to the heavens. To keep a tiger known as the Grim Tempest at bay with this army of monsters. It's actually an armored tiger with skin as hard as steel, with a strong command of wind. Now finishing and walking up to her, handing her what he picked, saying, "So is that why you didn't raise me when my mom died?" She had a grim look in her face, but saying, "It's one of the reasons, Sal." They're ruffling his hair, saying, "Okay, that's all we need. Let's get back before night completely falls. Okay?" Belle smiled happily. Now night does roll around, and Alfia leaves her room, going to the bathroom, coughing up blood, saying, "It started now. Great." Tears dropping from her face. Another week has passed. Belle's mastered more magic, getting it up to 30 spells. His aunt said she can't really teach him any more magic since he's learned all she can teach him for right now besides her unique ones. So they'll be concentrating on the weapon. Belle had almost learned every type of weapon. Sorry, I yawned and screwed that up from her, thinking Alfia decided to ask, "Hey, Belle, how does that skill of yours work again?" Belle explained to her, with her nodding, saying, "Oh, wait, do you think you can enhance a weapon with it?" Belle actually smacking himself in the head, saying, "I never thought of that. We need to try it, Auntie." He picked up one of the spears they were training with. As he wrapped the blacklight fires around, it turned the black spear into a red tip, as it looked crooked and twisted, as it had black and red streaks all over it. Belle started to strike with it, and seeing he could pierce a tree in half. Noticing he was stronger, he could even consume the tree with it. But as Belle trained with it during its short time, he noticed a flaw, an especially big flaw, when it snapped. Belle saying, "It makes weapons stronger, but it's not made to survive my skill, it just breaks." With the spirit going back to normal, as half of it on the ground, Althea saying, "Actually, I noticed something as well." So Belle turned to her and asked her, "What did you learn? It seems to be filled with magic area too. Can you try this dagger and test something for me?" As she tosses him with a dagger, Also, if you want kind of more of a visible representation, think of the Daedric gear from Skyrim is basically what the weapons look like when the blacklight virus consumes them. Just thought I'd point that out. As he channels magic through, he slashes his dagger as it hits a tree, turning into ice. Alfia saying, "So that's how it works." Bell asking, "Okay, how does it work then?" Response saying, "You can channel magic through a weapon that's coated in the blacklight, making it where you can use spells and element parts of magic without a chant. And you can use it at full power. Plus, in theory, a magic weapon that never breaks. You can find someone to make a weapon that could survive your skill." She laughed a bit, saying, "Well, that's just great, my nephew." As she sighs, then pointing out, "You're basically a god, and that's going to be trouble later on, especially with those Amazon bitches." She grumbles. Belle saying, "Bitches? What are those?" With Alfie getting a red face, saying, "Never repeat that word in front of your goddesses. Ever. It's a bad word. I never should have said it, and they would kill me." Belle laughs, saying, "I know it's a bad word. I just like seeing your flustered face, Auntie." She grabs Belle by the cheeks and pinches as hard as she can, and then squishes his face together, nearly crushing his head, while he screams, "Sorry, sorry, sorry." They return back to the house. It being night again, Althea left the room, barely able to stand while breathing heavily, saying, "I just gotta teach him a little bit more. Just hold on a little longer, me. Just a little longer." The third week of training has passed. Bell has mastered every weapon, has learned how to use blacklight fires with the weapons, though they don't last long. He's protected his own magic down to near instant cast or short chance. Althea is very proud of him, thinking he's surely become a powerful warrior and magic user in a short amount of time. Plus, his stats were S, with almost every single one of them being 999 already. She's smiling. Well, they were going back. They had a talk. Belle saying, "I never thought I could get this strong so fast. You're a good teacher, Auntie." Her smiling and responding back, "No, you're just really, really born with innate talent." It's easier for both of us, to be honest, with her smiling, her brightest smile he'd ever seen. But when they got to the door of the house, she all suddenly dropped to the ground, causing Belle to freaking out, seeing blood leaking from her mouth. He screamed out for his goddesses to help them. Once they figured out what's going on, they helped her to her bed. About a day later, she awoke and see Belle at the end of her bed, with her smile saying, "Well, now it's time." She gently woke up Belle. Seeing tears in her eyes, he hugged her, saying, "Are you okay? Did I push you too hard during training?" Her simply smiled, saying, "No, you didn't. You can go get your goddesses. We need to have a talk once all three of us are together." She took a deep breath once she saw them all enter the room. "I need to tell you what's going on and why you were never raised by me, okay? So listen to the end." Belle and the goddesses nodded, she clearing her throat, sighing. "See, I have an incurable disease. And what's made where I cannot fight for long periods of time, but thanks to a branch from a sacred tree from an elven forest, that made my condition much, much better. But now even that was at its limit as well. And the reason I hate noise is because it's my sin. I stole my sister's talent from her. Well, thanks to that I hate my noise, or put it more specifically, my power. Your mother died because of this illness while I lived. Also, it is also why I asked you to go to the church. It was her favorite place. You made her forget about her illness, and I now know I only got a few days left. So can we spend the last of them together? And to the goddesses, I want you to protect Belle with your lives. Can you promise me that?" They both said yes, we can, and we would do it anyway without you asking. After this, Belle spent every second he could with her, giving her food he learned to cook from her, having conversations. But sadly, it was the final day, with Belle holding her hand while she was taking deep, hard breaths as blood was coming out of her mouth. Afia saying, "I am so happy I got to meet you before the end, Belle, and I know you're in good hands. But they aren't the best ones, to be honest. Though I want you to promise me something first. I want you to kill all those monsters and that tiger. And second, I want you to find a good partner for you. One or a bunch of them, I don't really care on that fact. But no tramps, do I make myself clear? As he slowly lifted up her finger and poked Belle in the head, giving a very obvious death glare at the goddesses, with them just whistling and turning their heads. When she said this, Belle saying he'll keep his promise, responding with her final words, "Please consume me, Belle." Although him giving her a chocolate, her saying, "I want to use my power, magic, and abilities and skill. This is my last wish and a request from your aunt to my nephew." As tears streamed both down their face, Belle just trying to fight them all back as he slowly consumes his aunt. When he was about to finish saying, "Thank you so much, Auntie, for everything," with her smile saying, "Thank you for giving my last week's life so much true life. I will always love you, Belle." As she disappears, he finishing consuming her. Belle was in tears. He screamed out in pain and agony. His hair was already almost completely black. It didn't make the goddesses worried, but they knew why. Them just saying, "Update my status, please. I need to know what I'm working with." The goddesses nodded. After updating her status, he gotten her 3 unique spells. Also, I'm probably going to butcher all of these. That involved sounds. Santes, Varen, Silentium, Eden, Genus Alginus. Probably butchered all that. Her abilities were congruent chanting with Claire chant magic while moving. Extreme speed, which increases all forms of speed, even response. Copy, that lets you copy movements you've once seen, but not the physical action. But the blacklight virus had a unique version. It allowed the copy ability to let him turn into someone he had consumed, taking their appearance and voice. And her disease only accounted as her skill, with some other skills being blank right now. As they read it out, it weakens someone at an accelerated rate, seeing a loss of health and mind at 5% with a reduction to abilities every turn, it said. Turn. Which kind of confused the goddesses on that wording. But with the blacklight virus, it made it more clear. Though Belle is immune completely to it, it also changed it, letting the user force a greater variant on a person or a monster. It being a loss of 10% of mind and abilities in health, and are reduced by a mind and health, and the abilities are reduced by a triple multiplier. This happens every 30 seconds. This truly shocked guards. It realized what the term meant was that it would take X number of seconds or time away from her. But to think 10% of a loss of mind, health, and abilities, and then he can reduce their set abilities by a triple multiplier. It truly made this skill deadly. Blacklight virus is considered disease after all. Though they got an even greater shock, is that his statuses were all now at 6,993. It was an X-rated stat, and there was a plus 6,993 in all his stats, with a plus 7 on his level. And this skill truly made them shake in their feet. Blacklight limit break. It appears as they read this, it breaks all limitations set by deities, allowing the user to go beyond all limits of power thought possible. But Blacklight virus limit break is said all status pluses are added to the user, making them strong. But they get 1/4 the Excellior experience gained. Belle saying, "Please make me level 3. They just nodded. Belle now being level 3, he started to walk out. His goddesses tried to go after him, but he stopped them by making a barrier around the house, saying it's time for him to keep one of his promises and end those monsters. He's walking away while his hair is getting blacker and blacker, so does his eyes, saying, "Mercer, for once you can take over." When this happens, a new voice said, with a laugh, "For once, little one, we agree on something. I'm not stopping until every single one of those monsters are consumed or dead. It's time to let all out, my other half." The goddesses were worried about Belle. They were now stuck in a cabin, fearing what was about to happen. But in a dark void, a silver-haired woman is talking to a goddess with her smile, saying, "That can be arranged, but first the boy's got to let go of all of his anger first. And sadness. Sadly, it's the only way he knows how to cope." With the barrier dropping and some monsters thinking they escape, but a black sword cleaves them in half, consuming them. All this happening, a tiger awakens, roaring, licking its lips, leaving a cave to see a small monster. It devoured it and started to slink away to the entrance to the barrier, while a laugh of a small boy can be heard. This is over with. This was the entirety of the script. This took 20% of my battery life just to read. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am never doing this again. I am just sore as hell from sitting here and talking. I apologize for the coughs and some of the stuttering, but it's because of my throat still being somewhat sore. I seriously probably need to take more cold medicine so it doesn't end up getting worse. That being said, I hope you guys enjoy yourself. This was The Real Guardian. You all have a wonderful day. I'm out.